So this year you're going to be writing a lot of body paragraphs. In the final larger essays, we'll be working on the 5-paragraph formal analytical essays. You'll actually be writing 3 body paragraphs in each of those essays, and they really are the place where you prove your thesis. The body paragraphs are where you do the hard labor of writing. For this assignment, you are writing 1 body paragraph only, so you're going to be spending a lot of time and energy crafting it, polishing it, revising it. And this video is intended to be an introduction, an overview of the body paragraph, so you can wrap your mind around it and be ready to be successful in writing one. Really, essentially, what you're doing is, in a body paragraph, you're proving the thesis. Now, in a 5-paragraph essay, your thesis would come at the end of your first paragraph, your introduction. You won't actually have a formal thesis statement to work with in this single body paragraph. So your topic sentence will function like a thesis. And the topic sentence is where you present the argument you're going to prove in your body paragraph. And I encourage you to watch the YouTube video I put together on topic sentences. The link is provided there, and as well on the class website. You want to think about analytical essays as almost like a courtroom drama. And if you've seen courtroom dramas, you know that the lawyers will stand up at the beginning and face the jury and make opening arguments. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, here is what I will prove to you. That's your topic sentence. You're saying, readers, here is what I'm going to prove to you in this topic, in this paragraph. And it's very important that you go ahead and watch the video 2, the second video here listed, on how to make a sentence into an argument, because that's going to be a requirement that I'll be looking very carefully for you fulfilling. And not only does your topic sentence need to be an argument, also 2 of your points in your paragraphs must be arguments as well. So you'll need to, at some point, as you begin this writing process, watch both of these other video clips. So you start with the topic sentence and you say, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, here is what I'm going to prove to you in this body paragraph. So you let us know your argument, and whatever 2 key points you're going to make, 1 or 2 key points you're going to make in that argument, in that argument, and then in that paragraph. What's key here, folks, is that you don't then write in your body paragraph any points that go beyond what your topic sentence suggested. So if you say, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm going to prove to you that Daffy Duck is a ridiculous character because he talks ridiculously, you would not then want to make a point at some point in the paragraph that Daffy Duck is a ridiculous character because he walks in a strange way. Because the walking is different than the talking, and if all you emphasized in your topic sentence was the way he talked, you wouldn't then make an argument in the body paragraph about the way he walks. So your topic sentence is also forming an umbrella. And whatever you say your topic sentence, in your topic sentence, you'll be proving that's what you need to focus on. You shouldn't bring up any new or additional points that move out of that umbrella the topic sentence sets. Finally, the topic sentence must be text specific. It should either mention the title or of the text or its author. So for Gilgamesh, really, you just have to use the title because we don't have a designated author. We have a translator. Here's an example of a topic sentence that would work. Roseldorf believes that dogs are bad because they produce air-polluting odors. So this is really clear. We know what the argument is. That the author, Roseldorf, here is arguing that dogs are bad because of this quality. So that word because is critical. It's giving us a cause and effect relationship. Probably most people who read the book this is referring to knows that Roseldorf doesn't have a high opinion of dogs. But what's different about this, what makes this as an argument, is the writer here is saying, well, this is why he thinks that, because of the way they smell. Okay, so that's just a basic topic sentence, and anything in this paragraph that the writer then writes shouldn't only be about this quality of their smell as leading to his conclusion, Roseldorf's conclusion, that dogs are bad. So after you create your first topic sentence, you go into your point and your context sentence. So the point sentence is your first argument that you're going to prove, and it's an argument that must be directly connected to your topic sentence. The context simply lets us know, give us some information on the quote. Who said it, when, where in the book, what's happening. You don't need all that information, but the context is setting up the quote for us so it doesn't appear randomly. We have we have a way to frame it in understanding where it fits into the larger book and story. Again, a point must be an argument, so it cannot be a statement of fact, and it's very important that you watch that video on how to make sure your sentences are arguments. Essentially, what you'd want to be able to check it against would be that if anybody else who read the book read your paper, would this point sentence be something that they maybe had not thought of? For example, if you say Gilgamesh is a cruel ruler in the beginning of the story, that's just a statement of fact. Anybody who read Gilgamesh knows that he was a cruel ruler at the start of the story. However, if you said, because he's lonely and desperate to try to connect with his people, Gilgamesh takes cruel actions that he thinks will bring him closer. Now that's more of an argument, right? Not everybody thinks that the reason he was cruel was because he was lonely. You're making your own unique argument and bringing analysis to it. That's different from other people's. That would then qualify it for being an argument. So here's an example of a good point and context sentence. In a scene early in the story, Franz, while fixing dinner for his date Gilderschwien, learns that it is a mistake to allow Fillyfluff and his smells to enter the house. So notice we have our context here. In a scene early in the story, Franz, while fixing dinner for his date Gilderschwien. There's our context. And then our argument is here, learns that it is a mistake to allow Fillyfluff and his smells to enter the house. He learns it's a mistake, right? And so it's setting up the point that the smell of the dog is what the author thinks is bad. So after your first sentence and with your context, you then give your first quote or example. And the quote has to prove the point you just made. And here's an example of what a fitting quote might be. Quote, the moment his four paws touched the living room floor, a smell filled the room that made toxic every single air particle we breathed. And soon Gilderschwien vomited on my couch, spun wildly toward the door, and exited with such rapidity that she appeared as a blur in my vision. Okay, there's your quote. And then your fourth sentence needs to be an explaining sentence. That means it has to not explain what the quote means. It has to explain how the quote proves your point. Let me say that again, because this is a mistake many freshmen make often and over and over again. After you write your quote, do not tell me what it means. Don't say, for example, you wouldn't write after this. This quote shows a dog making a living room smell so bad that a girlfriend vomits. I know that from reading it. Rather, what you need to do is explain, how does this quote prove the point you just made, right? Here's your point right up here. Now your fourth sentence is going to be explaining, how does this quote prove my point? Here's an example of a good explaining sentence after this quote. After experiences such as this one, it is no wonder that Franz begins to doubt the wisdom of keeping animals so obviously given over to the production of foul-smelling odors. So we're explaining, boy, this quote really makes it clear why Roseldorf and Franz starts to think that animals, specifically dogs, aren't a great pet to have in the house because of their smells. Okay. You then do this process of point, example, explaining sentence again. So you do it twice. So now you offer a new point, okay, and the point has to be connected to back to the topic sentence. Remember, our topic sentence is focused on this one. In a scene early in the story, Franz, while fixing dinner for his date Gilderschwien, learns that it is a mistake to allow Fillyfluff and his smells to enter the house. You're then coming down to your second point, and here it is. Okay, here it is. His doubt about keeping dogs are later enforced with a mighty force when Filly Fluff jumps into Franz's bed as he lies napping on a hot August afternoon. So remember, we have our context. Here it is, as he lies napping on a hot August afternoon. We know it's Filly Fluff the dog. And our second point is his doubts about keeping dogs are later enforced. Okay, so there's our point, our argument, that he doubts the wisdom of keeping dogs. We have our second quotation. The bed became, from that one instance of contact, so intensely saturated with a smell more hideous than rotting fish and spoilt milk, that I was forced to throw my bed and blankets into a blazing bonfire in order to rid myself of Filly Fluff's scent. That quote certainly does a good job of proving that the Franz did not enjoy the smell of his dog in the house. You then make another explaining sentence, right? Again, you're going to prove, how does this quote prove my point? So here it is. The cost and hassle that Hans must endure in order to keep his dog inside are clearly more than he can handle. It's not worth having the dog in the house. And then finally, you're going to write a concluding sentence. So you're going to remind us, how did you just prove your topic sentence? Through these two quotes, these 2 points, these 2 explaining sentences. Through such graphic and grotesque images, the author is clearly trying to convince readers that they should distance themselves from dogs and their foul-smelling skins. So that goes back to the topic sentence, and you're wrapping it up by reminding us how you've proved this, but saying it in a very new and different way. Okay. So finally, just to show you the grading rubric, how we'll be evaluating your body paragraphs, you can look this over yourself. But really, we're looking at if you follow this structure clearly, if you incorporate your quotes well, and we'll be talking to you more about that. And very importantly, if you make a coherent argument in your topic sentence, that you stick within that umbrella, that framework of the topic sentence, and you make well thought out, contextualized, argumentative points with fitting quotes, and that your explaining sentences don't explain what the quotes mean, but rather how they prove your points. Good luck, and look forward to working with you more in class.